Once upon a time, there was a time where people actually stood on for what they believed in. And us as gamers, we had a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of competition in our souls to demonstrate our gaming on whichever console we preferred. And the majority of us only had one console. This has been the law since the beginning of gaming. And we hold on to that law. We hold on to these truths. Yo, I want to say, y'all see this panel tonight. It's gonna be a good show. Um, I go by the name of the New Legal. Y'all already know what this is. This is Di-RRec Gaming. Let's go. I mean, y'all see the title. It's sickening out here, man. All this validation going on. All this can't be what you want to be. Can't stand on what you want to stand on. It's crazy to me because it only happens when it's in the Xbox street. Somebody can just mention Xbox, man, is doing this, or Xbox doing that. We can even have a show, and the head of Xbox could be on that show. And for some strange reason, the word PlayStation pops his head up in our shows. We have an Xbox show, but the word PlayStation will find its way in some kind of way. If I watch, if I watch a Nintendo show and it goes live for maybe 30 minutes, I'm not gonna hear one word called Xbox on that show. If I watch a PlayStation show for 20 minutes, you're not gonna hear the word Xbox on that show. But for some reason, in our Xbox streets, it's like it's a disease. It's something that just I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. People are sensitive. You have to say you have a PlayStation or something. I don't know where that comes from. But we killing myths tonight. We're gonna find out what that issue really is. Six Slayers in the building, Game Heroes in the building, Spark 117 in the building, Realest Ones in the building. We got our guest tonight, Resident Gamer Zero in the building. He's all over the place. Hold on, I gotta get him back in. There he is. We got him back in. We got Resident Gamer in the building. We glad to have you as well, man. But I'm just trying to figure it out, y'all. Can y'all help me out on this before we get started? I just need to understand why people feel like when we talk about Xbox, we have to mention PlayStation. Somebody help me out, man.
Well, the first thing I want to say is, and this is quite simple and to the point, and then I really don't even have nothing else to say to this subject after this, right? But this is the thing I've been saying since you and me linked up here on YouTube, right? These PlayStation fanatics in particular, right? Not PlayStation fans or Nintendo fans, although there are Nintendo fans who do this for Nintendo as well, right? But these dudes think and act like children. They'd rather put their hands on their ears and go la 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 and ignore what's going on. It's like the example you give with Phil Spencer when he did that show, right? He laid the facts down quite flat, and there's still people trying to find a hole in his words to continue another narrative. That's clearly false, right? It shouldn't even be debated anymore. And that's what it is. These are children who don't want to accept reality, and they'd rather make up their own reality, and they think they have a momentum and, a standing to do so, and thinking that everybody will just go along with it. Because to be frank, that's what's been happening for a long, long time. You get support from the press. And even now that there's a momentum shift happening, you see egregious examples of folks in the press who try to spin a different narrative an opposite narrative of what's really happening. These people just don't want to accept the facts, and that's what it is. It's the mentality of children, man. It's what I've always said.
Yeah, man. Well, who cares? Xbox is winning 2023 because we just we have one of the best games came out. What this week? This month? This week? Wurong. I don't have to pay for it. What, $60? You know. But you say I see the narrative today. Oh, but 4% of people. What's the name? No, 4% of people bought what's the name? Wudong on the UK box charts. We down bad, brother. We're all down bad, and they doing this for they doing this a purpose. They're doing this a purpose because at the end of the day, right? That's not true because a lot of people in the UK don't really buy physical copies. No, all right, it's like this, right? I got a gaming PC, right? All right, so you tell me I don't have a disk drive. So that means I don't buy physical copies of CDs. Like no PC gamers don't do that mostly. Some PC gamers do, but not every PC gamer. It's like about what 95, 96%? No. So what we do is we go on Steam, go on an Epic Store or GOG Games, and just buy the game digitally, right? So that means that nobody really cares about physical copies. Now, me personally, right? I do buy physical games, but majority of people on an Xbox, not really, because
you recognize that you're a niche.
Yes. So, for example, right? If you want to get the game early, right? Well, download. Let's say the Resident, my boy right here, Resident, right? He like Resident Evil 4. He's gonna buy Resident Evil 4 remake, right? If he wanted to get the game, right, he could buy the game physical or he could buy the game digital. But the cons are pros, right? The cons of buying the game physical, that means, this could be scratched, you get replaced, somebody could stole it, whatever, right? The pros is that you can own the game for a long time. Now, majority of people don't want to do that. Some people have to go to work. So what they do is they go on the Xbox store, click buy the game early. You can play the game on midnight releases. There's a lot of games could do that, right? Because remember, some people, when a game comes out, a lot of people, go to New Zealand and try to play the game, before, yeah, you know what I mean, right? Before, the game comes out. Now, me personally, I'm like 50-50, right? So I do buy physical copies. Also, I buy digital copies, right? So if the game is very old, I will buy it in the store. Like I just bought, the whole trilogy a couple weeks ago. I still didn't play it yet. Devil May Cry, right? I never played a goddamn Devil May Cry game before. So, hey, went to the store. It was $9. I bought it digitally, right? Now, yeah, I could go into GameStop and buy it physical, right? But let's say GameStop physical copy is over what, $30, right? Sometimes digital makes sense. I don't have to, go outside, go to my car, or go to my electric bike, drive, again, go to GameStop. And let's say let's say my local GameStop doesn't have it. Then I ask them in the store, what is the, locust GameStop or Best Buy who has it? And trying to find it physical. It's a pain in the ass. I just go to the goddamn store and buy the damn game. So when people keep saying the UK box charts, right? UK is not the biggest gaming market in the world. It's
only the PlayStation narrative. You know that,
yeah.
Heroes.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it today. But listen, they're doing this for years, right? So this is why I really don't comment on this shit anymore. Because if I'm Googling right now, the biggest video game market.
And you know the champion of that, right? Mr. Chris String from GameIndustry.biz.
Yep.
Notorious Pony.
Okay, video games market.
That Dingleberry guy with the glasses on.
And there's been data heroes. There's been graphs that have shown like from early 2000s up until now the digital versus physical percentages have increased dramatically. Now it's like 70-80% digital now.
Yeah, like IG made a post. They said 85% of people in the UK buy their games digitally over physical copies. And I'm looking at the market right now, the biggest video game, by market, by revenue, obvious number one is China. Now, of course, China play a huge role because of cheap mobile games, and mobile game is big in the Eastern countries, yes. But the second biggest market, believe it or not, is the United States. The third is Japan, South Korea, Germany, and the last one is the UK. Now, I'm not saying nobody buy games in the UK, because I know some people are going to twist my words. Oh, see, now he hates the UK now. No. If you're a game developer, right, you want to target the biggest install base and the biggest market. There's a reason why Microsoft struggles in Japan. They do. There's no rocket scientists, right? They've been struggling in Japan since 2001 because they're an underdog. They're an American company, and back then, majority of the people who control the video game market are Japanese developers, like household names like Square Enix, Konami, and all that stuff, right? And a lot of these developers don't really want to make games on American console. Microsoft got to prove themselves they belong there. They did. They took them a long time, but during the 360 era, they did. But Japan is one of the biggest markets. Microsoft doesn't do well, but the only market that Microsoft does well is the United States. United States is the biggest market. So during the 360 era, a lot of people don't know data. The Xbox 360, they whooped the PlayStation ass during the 360 era in America. According to data, 50 million people literally bought the 360, and 29 million people just bought the PS3. That's 2-1 ratio. The reason why the PS3 came back and beat the Xbox because it was the cheapest Blu-ray player, and of course, Microsoft does not do well in Japan, despite it sold 2 million copies in Japan, but the PlayStation sold about 10 million.
And Game Heroes is correct. That's why last gen you heard that ratio number so much, because it was a sensitive topic. They knew just how bad Xbox beat PlayStation America. That's why it was very important for them to talk about, PlayStation is outselling Xbox 2-1, 3-1. They were saying all that stuff because they knew those numbers.
It was outsold worldwide, but you see, the Xbox One sold 34 million copies in North America alone. Now, the PS4 did sold 35. Not 35, 38. So it was close. It wasn't like a magical blowout because end of the day, right? Legal from America, realists in America, Resident Evil America, right? Yeah, so you're in America, everybody from the United States, I think Spartans from Canada, right? We in United States, people like us are going to stick with American products. All right, so at the end of the day is that, it's kind of true that most people in America are still going to buy the Xbox One. Doesn't matter how bad the Xbox One launch title was and the DRM, we're still going to stick with the product. And Microsoft do advertise more in the United States than around the world. That's the main problem with the Xbox, because they don't really have a lot of big market and advertisement in other countries because of localization and everything. But so this generation, Microsoft starts saying, okay, we're gonna ship the Xbox worldwide this time, and it did pay them out. Look at Japan numbers. Yeah, it's not gonna beat the Switch and PlayStation.
It's gonna take time, like what you're seeing it, like on Twitter, like you're seeing multiple different Japanese people post like buying the consoles, like
yeah. And look, it's outsold the Xbox One though. That's good. Because Microsoft learned from mistakes. See, legal, a lot of people don't understand why the Xbox One struggles last year in Japan. Decided the 360 sold 2.1 million copies. Because Microsoft, the people who run at that time, they decided to ship the Xbox One in Japan 1 year late than in Americas. Because remember, the Xbox One launched in November 2023. Then it launched in Japan in September 2024. The same exact launch titles than the in 2013. So when people keep saying the UK box charts and this, come on, man. I don't care about that because we know the UK does not represent the whole entire world. If you go to the most paid or most sales right now on Xbox, I'm literally right on the website. Top paid right now, hold on, is Modern Warfare, Hard Wars is number 2, and et cetera, et cetera. So
Heroes, has Xbox ever won in the UK? I think PlayStation's always been dominant.
no, actually, in the 360 era, the Xbox lost by 2 million.
In the 360 era, it was all bets were off from 360 era. PlayStation priced themselves out of the market.
Yeah. The 360 era, the Xbox, they kind of beat in the UK. They did. That was their third biggest. That was their second biggest market. So in the 360 era, but
yeah, $500 is a hard swallow.
It's a hard swallow. Yeah, it was a hard swallow, and a lot of people, jump shift to the PS4. But I don't care about the UK box charts because at the end of the day, that's just in Game Pass, and a lot of people don't buy physical copies. More people buy. What's the name?
It's more about the collector's editions now, if anything. But
yeah. And look, it's like physical copies. That's more power. I like physical. I like open the box and the smell the this. But some
Games,
people don't have
a question for you, Games.
Go ahead.
We're all talking about the numbers and this and that, how dominant PlayStation is in certain areas and markets and stuff. But how is it that they have all of these console sales yet can't beat Xbox when it comes to our studios showing off that 23 million active online players for Forza Horizon 5, over 15 million over gamers online active every day. We don't hear none of that from Sony, bro.
No, because PlayStation don't have
they rely way too heavily on their third person cinematic driven
first
bingo.
Yeah.
They too much, and they realize that they're not making the return on what they're expecting for those games anymore. That's why they're going to games as a service games. That's their strategy. Is they're not making enough money, and they're relying heavily on Call of Duty. We know now, like that's what's been keeping them going this whole entire time. Not their first party. It's been Call of Duty this entire time, which I think is kind of funny, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's just, that's all they rely on is their like God of War and their Forbidden West game, Gran Turismo. At one point, they were so focused on that Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, they were all up in the guts of all these video games now. They
know the numbers, they see ahead, and like they know they can't sustain their business the way that they're doing things right now. So they have to expand to more PC, more mobile, more of the games as a service market, because they have to not only sustain their revenue but gain profit, right? And right now, currently, their model of their first party games is not cutting it, and they've clearly shown that with their desperation with the Activision Blizzard deal with Call of Duty. Like, I mean, Jim Crying Ryan flew all the way to Brussels twice, bro. He flew there to talk to the regulators. That's how critical Call of Duty is to their business. And that's a very, very weak point, I think, for Sony. Like, if you're really relying on a crutch like that, what if Microsoft takes that away from you? takes away that revenue strain, which they're not. They're obviously giving Sony more of a revenue strain than Activision gave them. They're offering them a better deal than Activision offered them, which I think is insane. I don't even know why Microsoft is being.
Not if they don't sign that contract, they won't, because they haven't signed it yet. Like they could sit there and I can't imagine that they won't at the very end, but for now they're not. So we gotta treat it as such. Like, what are they gonna do?
No, okay, I'm gonna ask a question, right?
Remember when they had their PlayStation 4 Destiny's console edition only on exclusive on PlayStation? What happened to their Destinies and their hype when they were trying to block that from Xbox? Now Call of Duty's important all of a sudden.
Hey, I'm gonna ask a question, right? Right. So if Microsoft bought, right, Activision, let's say the deal came out and finalized, they bought it, it's theirs. If Microsoft came out and said, listen, we own Call of Duty, right? We could the hell we want to do, right? We're gonna make this game on Xbox and PC, it's not on PlayStation, right? Why can't Sony makes the best games in the industry? They're so talented. Their own studios are talented, right? They win Game of the Years and awards and everything.
Bullshit.
Why they can't create their own goddamn shooter?
Game, you already know the answers to the questions you
They
said.
tried.
You know what I'm saying? Look, they're incapable of creating. Look, Sony doesn't want to compete in the first place. Let's get that out of the way. Anytime that PlayStation has to compete, they'd rather buy timed exclusivity, right? They used to make like JRPGs, but instead of competing with Final Fantasy, they chose to just go ahead and buy them and keep them from making games for other consoles, right? And going back to UK, the more I think of it, the more I think of how the CMA is overstepping their bounds, because they only represent 3%, right? That is negligible at the end of the day. They won't be missed. That can be replaced. So I don't understand why guys bring up UK. I know that they do it on the other side just to, I guess, claim some kind of win.
It's their ego, realist. The UK, I've got family living there. I've lived there for 2 years. It's just their ego. That's all they have left is their own country and their own numbers.
But look, this is not the UK speaking. This is American fans bringing up UK box numbers. It's already been established that it's anywhere from 75 to 85% of sales are digital. Now, I've been digital since I could be. PC laid the groundwork for that, and now everybody else is moving with it, right?
Like our buddy real Nikolai, right?
Oh, you talking about that guy? But look, because if you look at like when Sony kind of backpedaled and let Microsoft go out there and stand alone when it came to the DRM, you look at what they're doing now. They came out with a digital console, and I said it back then. This is an industry initiative. This isn't Microsoft just doing something because they want to do it. They want to be able to control their media. They don't want people to be able to resell and they make no profits. And if you're a business, you want the same thing too. So I never had a problem with it. But the reason why these guys always have to bring PlayStation into an Xbox conversation is because, look, and I think we talked about this last time, Microsoft has a steep hill to climb. They got to turn the minds away from these ponies who've been playing a PlayStation since PlayStation 2 when they needed a DVD player, right? These people have been playing the PlayStation forever. They're in your media. They're on your social media platforms. Eventually, they'll be exterminated, but now they're still there. And that's why we're always going to hear about PlayStation when it's an Xbox conversation, until eventually they get the memo that they're riding on the wrong horse and they need to go ahead and switch, right? Or just become a neutral and just talk about gaming and be a gamer. But like Polly Baba said, yeah, PlayStation is the most profitable division at Sony. You think that's what Sony wants? Sony's foundation is hardware, things that they can control. And right
makes
now,
more money for them than any of their other more than their PC market, more than their TV market. Their gaming.
That TV market isn't even theirs.
No,
like Sony. The only thing that Sony is wholly responsible for is their movies and their sound, right? Their sound codecs and their sound technology. but it's never going to be widely adopted, right? I ain't gonna say never, but it isn't up to this point. You got Dolby before that, THX. Nobody was checking for Sony codec, so it is what it is. And the reason why you won't see 117, the reason why you won't see Sony talking about these big player numbers, because they don't put their games in the service. Because at the end of the day, we already know that they're not going to sell 20 million copies in a month. We don't hear about 20 million until 5 or 6 years down the line with these games. After they sell them, discount them, bundle them, deep discount them, throw them in the service, and then you hear about 20 million. You're not going to hear about it the same way as you hear with Xbox. Xbox has 30 million subscribers plus, and you got that many people that have access to the games. That's why you'll see that. But that's what's most important. Getting traction when the game first drops, not years down the line when you're just hoping somebody wants to play it.
Yeah, those are facts right there. Like just like
Facts.
It's imagine that when they released CDs for these rap artists, they made 5 million in one day. That's what we're going for. And yet, yeah, Sony's sitting there waiting until the long run and then be like, "Whoa, we made this."
But it's getting to a point where Sony's going to have to compete, man. They don't like to compete, and that's what Microsoft's calling them out on, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're number one, there's no close second, right? They're happy. But now that Microsoft's threatening their position, what Sony is so tied into the console that it's crazy. If they lose a piece of their console share, they don't get those third-party sales, which they're so dependent on. Right? I've been saying this, but now Sony is in agreement with me that they need those third-party sales to be Sony. They make more money selling other people's property than their own. And that's a problem. That's why they couldn't stomp Nintendo out the way they stomped Sega out.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
They're on the verge of being. What's that?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Eli, but even from the PS1 days, weren't they always heavily reliant on third party?
They didn't have anything.
I know they didn't have
all they had was a CD.
Yeah.
And so they leveraged that and put it against the industry and say, hey, go with us instead of Nintendo. How would you not be dependent on anything but third party when you have zero studios? They even said it in the documentary that we didn't have anything. We had to go convince. Legal said it was 250. I thought I heard 230. 250 developers to make games for PlayStation.
Yep.
They didn't own them. I think I think whatever the name of the studios was that makes Gran Turismo. That's one of the first ones they bought.
The
Polyphony, and they
was it always called Polyphony? I don't think it was called Polyphony before.
No. Synosis.
That's it. That's Stagnosis or something like that.
Stagnosis, yeah.
No, they were a publisher in the 90s, but it was one of the big publishers in Europe. And I saw, man, first of all, shout out to JyzalGamingTV who posted that, but I saw that in G4 TV in 2005. So remember, I used to watch G4 a lot.
We all did. If we were old enough.
Yeah, old enough, right? So I used to watch G4. They had G4 icons like documentaries about the Dreamcast and everything. And I saw that. I learned a lot about Sony. Because remember, at that time, I never had a PS2, but I learned a lot. So, at this time, I had a GameCube and an OG Xbox. And Sony actually, buy a third-party publisher. Remember, the problem with this industry is like, I'll say flip-flopping, right? So, remember this, right? What is the biggest problem with Nintendo of all these years?
I don't see a problem.
No, there was a problem with Nintendo.
When?
No, yes. Well, every time people, Nintendo have a good strong first party games, right? You can't sit down and lie. It doesn't matter if these games are not for you. They have, right?
Hey.
But what's the Nintendo biggest weakness?
Right now?
No, of all time. Why the Wii U didn't sell? Why did the GameCube didn't sell? Why did the N64? Yeah, it sell, but not a lot.
Well, the media, like the delivery device.
Yep.
No, yeah, but lack of what though?
And the hardware limitations too.
Yeah, that's true. But lack of what? Lack of games, right? Do we talk about lack of
But
what?
why did they have a lack of games? It was always because of the way
Yeah,
they wanted to the medium device. It was like, all right, with the GameCube you brought up,
mhm.
Nintendo 64, the cartridge, it was too expensive. CDs were on the rise.
Yeah, that's true. So,
GameCube chose to give you a little bitty CD that had half the data of a CD because Nintendo wants to control that portion. That's the issue. I mean,
yeah,
that's all I see. The Wii U
when
was totally different.
so when Nintendo does that, a lot of third-party developers don't make games for them, right? Yeah. So that's why people keep saying that of all these years, Nintendo has a lack of third-party support.
That's not true. Game Heroes, they used to abuse third party
Exactly.
Nintendo and Nintendo
That's true.
64
That's true.
and make them pay for all types of things like the seal of
but
approval.
really.
Yeah, they were also like Sony. They were heavily reliant on third party too.
No, they never. Yeah, listen. Do the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. No, do the Super Nintendo time, right? Versus the Genesis, right? Nintendo had a lot of third-party support, but third-party developers stop making games with Nintendo because of lack of, because the cartridge and the space. So they lost a lot of third-party support.
Lost a lot of support, Game Heroes, because they took advantage of their market leading position the same way Sony has all these years. And the first opportunity that those guys had to jump ship, they did so with Sony.
So a lack of third-party support, though. So when you have no third-party support, that's equal to droughts. The Wii U had droughts.
The Wii U was poorly positioned, man.
And not only the Wii
and
U,
nobody bought it. But look at the Wii. The Wii was underpowered, right? The Wii was technically the market leader in sales, but it wasn't the lead platform. The Xbox 360 was.
I know.
Right? I know. They couldn't make games to work on the Wii, but everybody tried. I had one. I pirated them all. Right? They had all those games. They had Madden looking like Nintendo 64, Call of Duty looking like it was 3 generations behind. Everybody wanted to sell their games on the Wii, but they couldn't because they were nothing in comparison to the other consoles.
That's true. That's what's true. But look at the N64 though. Drought. They didn't have nothing.
Well, they dumped the N64.
Yeah,
I didn't know back then.
And so this is what I'm saying, right? Back then, a lot of people in the industry, right? Mm-hmm. They say that third-party games are very important to a console life cycle because the more games you get, the more people are gonna keep buying. Because think about it, right? The PS2, they were still making games with the PS2 when in 2010.
It has sold 150 million consoles.
Exactly. It was still making games. Not Sony, but third-party game developers. And look, when you have lack of third-party support, you have drought. Because, you got a first party. Let's think about it, right? We all play Wunall, right? We're going to play Resident Evil 4. Your Switch cannot be your main platform. It can't do that. So they don't
man, you're a Nintendo fan.
Yeah, but I have to have it on the Xbox, though.
But see, over in Japan, that's their platform. Because think about it. Sony got ran out of there, and Xbox is barely making a little dent out there. So that's a lot of people's main platform. They got plenty of games. They're just not for you. Like I keep seeing people throw these JRPGs out there, right? In the comments. All those games people are buying. They're perfect for the Switch. You don't need any power to run them. And it'll also help the battery on the Switch while you take your little bullet train rides. So, like, for here, no. And I think that was Metric. When he came out and said those games don't sell, he was vilified. But the numbers don't lie.
Ooh, what's Metric said again?
Those games don't sell. When they were talking, when they're asking about the Japanese offering.
No, he's right. They don't.
He is right. He is right. But all I'm saying is when it comes to the Switch, not here, but over there, that's their only console because they're not buying Xboxes and PlayStation 5s in big numbers.
Yeah. But see, sorry my voice. But see, the problem is, right, a lot of people like, a lot of people understand, right? third-party games are more important than first-party because you can have all the first-party games you want. It doesn't really dedicate a console, people buy a console that much. Because if you look at the top, best-selling games, it's always third-party. Call of Duty and Fortnite, all these games.
Dark Souls and all that.
Dark Souls. Harry Potter is more right now.
Minecraft.
And look, right here, it says the lack of third-party games out, for the Wii were so bad. A lot of people start, developers start, abandoning, Nintendo. So the Wii was successful, Wheelers. He had, he had like Call of Duty, and nobody played it. I played them, but more people are gonna buy a third-party game on the Xbox 360 and PS3, right? Because more graphics and stuff. But you gotta have a healthy third-party support, because if you don't have any games coming in, yes, Nintendo got Donkey Kong, Nintendo had Mario Kart. That was on the Wii U. It didn't move the units. The Wii U doesn't matter. You said, yeah, it wasn't the more powerful console, but you had better games. But it didn't move the units for the casuals. So the problem is that a lot of these ponies talking about, first party games, first party this, Xbox got no games. If you look at the top 20 most playing games on PlayStation, they were all third party. What are they playing right now? They're not playing God of War. They're not playing Horizon. They're playing Harry Potter. They're playing Rudolph.
That's just grandstanding, right? That's just cloud. They're not.
Yeah.
I
have the data. Let
me ask you guys something, heroes in real. What Xbox is proposing and Phil's proposing is, I don't think something's ever been done before, because I don't think Sony and Nintendo have ever had the amount of studios that they would need to do this. But like a first party game every quarter, with them acquiring Activision Blizzard, with that many more developers on top of already the amount of studios they have already currently, like they could actually achieve that goal of releasing one first party game every quarter. Can you imagine? That's something that's never been done before by a gaming company, because even Nintendo, there's long gaps in between each first party game. Same with Sony. But like Microsoft is proposing like every freaking quarter. That's insane. Like imagine like if they're able to pull that off.
But Reza, you see, you just said it right? There's a large gap sometimes between Nintendo games. That's happened to the Wii U. Because let's say like 2 years ago.
Well, it was the messaging too, because like consumers were confused, like what was the difference between Wii and Wii U, and like Nintendo really didn't explain that well.
But we're talking about the Switch too. Like I remember in 2018, the Switch had no games because it was a large gap between. Let's say they put a first party game in February, the next 3, 4, 5 months, there's nothing.
Like you said, no. I know you're telling the truth. Game Heroes, when I bought my Switch, Breath of the Wild was the only game that came out on it, right?
Yeah.
And then Christmas is when Mario Odyssey came out, the very second game. But I want to get on to something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This revenue stuff about PlayStation having more revenue than Xbox and Nintendo, it looks good on paper, people. Because common sense, PlayStation is supposed to make more revenue than Xbox and Nintendo because they're the number one brand in the market. It wouldn't sound right for the number one brand in the market to not have as many consoles out there available or items out there available for their fan base being number one, right? So when you look at these numbers, right, when you do your research, you find out that PlayStation pretty much has been making the same revenue amount on Xbox for 2 years in a row. It's really not, it hasn't been anything out of the ordinary. It's been around 8.8 million or 8.4 million. It's not, it isn't anything that is astronomically different. It's kind of steady. And what's funny about this steadiness is that Xbox declined about 12% in hardware in December. But people got to understand, Xbox had a tremendous November and December. At the same time, they had an incredible Black Friday, and then they had an incredible 2-week before Christmas sales hit because people wanted to play that high on life. And then after Christmas, the consoles kind of declined a little bit. But what grew? This is what's funny. What grew substantially? Game Pass.
Game Pass.
How much did Game Pass grow the Xbox Live service? Because anybody that has an Xbox understand that Game Pass and Xbox Live is one. It creates Ultimate, right? So Ultimate had to be what grew, not just your regular Game Pass, because Ultimate includes Live. The monthly active user amount was 100 million. And you can look this up. After January, or within January, I should say, that number grew 20 million. The Xbox Live subscription count grew 20 million. Grew 20 million, people. Where did these 20 million come from? I told you that Exodus was coming, didn't I? See, people get too stuck into what these gaming media outlets shoot out to y'all. It's what my friend Six Slayer was saying 2 years ago. One of the number one reasons out of the top 5 laws of what's wrong with the Xbox community, I have to give it to Six Slayer for this one. One of the reasons is that y'all listen to these gaming outlets that are not even for y'all. And I've never understood that. Why you were chasing IGN, a GameSpot, a Kotaku? Come on, bro. Why are you even paying attention to Digital Foundry? Come on, bro. Like, did you not buy the Xbox Series X thinking that it would underperform against the PlayStation 5? Do I need Digital Foundry telling me that, oh, the PlayStation 5 is outperforming the Series X because it's holding a 3 more percent of frames higher than what the X is doing? But what they're telling you is that the X is probably having a lot more textures in the scene. It's more graphically detailed. They don't want to tell you that because you don't have to have even common sense to know that the PlayStation 5 is not going to outperform the Series X, especially if it gets an update. We're seeing that right now with Resident Evil 4 Remake. Resident Evil 4 Remake is only on the Series X and S consoles. It's not a cross-gen game for Xbox gamers. Oh, but lo and behold, it is for the PlayStation fans. You're going to find that game on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So it's not going to perform the same.
There's a big difference between hardware VRS and software VRS.
Correct. And this 20
Facts.
And this 20 million increase, right? If you read your articles, they're trying to figure it out. Sick, Realist, Games, Spartan, Resident, Chit Chat. Literally, I'm reading an article right now, right? They can't figure out how these Xbox numbers just jumped out of nowhere. But we know where it came from. It came from the cloud subscription base. you see a lot of people front on Xbox. We know you like these Xbox games, but you're not willing to let anybody know you're playing them. We get it. That's the little console war. I love it. But the thing is, the numbers don't lie. 20 million didn't just come out of nowhere. There's not 20 million Caspers out here. So y'all did your exodus for Microsoft. So now there's 20 million either new accounts, old accounts, but accounts got reactivated. There's 20 million more accounts now on Xbox.
You know, some of them are donkeys.
Facts. You know they were. You know that. That's right. That's right, Paul. That's right. They. It's facts. Look, Xbox is damn as they do and damn if they don't. Facts. So you might as well just go all in.
You know, they can't openly admit it because their community would shun them, right? So
right. It's Resident. Look, man. They have not yet learned that you cannot rely on these third-party gaming outlets. A lot of them all work from the same source, right? It's all chameleon, right? All these gaming outlets that got these different names, they're all together. They're all together. It's not the Xbox community that they can bank on. I keep telling people this. We are 3-1. For every one Xbox fan on social media, there's 3 donkeys. 3-1. You have no fight in this game. If I had a social media business, right? I'm not catering to the Xbox community. Are you serious? That's the smallest gaming community right there. But why is Xbox the smallest gaming community? Because the Xbox community is gaming. Didn't I just tell you 20 million just grew? 20 million. The proof is in the pudding, people. We know you love these Xbox games. We know once you get on Xbox, you're going to love this community. We know this. Y'all can't even play it out for us. We don't need you to tell us. We see the numbers. You're having fun, aren't you? You're enjoying Xbox, aren't you? But you won't come on social media and say that. No. No, we get it. But see, I don't have to have a PlayStation to feel validated because there's nothing that PlayStation has that I want. Besides, listen, you have to lie to me, just like what happened today, right? IGN just boldly lied about Final Fantasy 16, right? Just boldly lied. And what's crazy is that Microsoft, people think Microsoft has to play little bank, right? They have to. These are things that you do when you don't have a big bank. You got to do these little things to keep yourself looking like you're really doing something. But it's like, man, it's like Sony put a little mannequin in the bed, right? And you want to know, it's almost like 3 Little Bears, right? and the bears that came into the room and they done pulled the sheet back. And there ain't nothing but a little doll under the covers. That's PlayStation now. The sheet done been pulled off and people are looking like this ain't even real. This ain't even real. This is funny stuff. This is comical. This ain't even real, people. While y'all services decline, so they're not going to talk about that. These outlets are not going to talk about how Sony's subscription base has declined. No. You see, you got to understand this stuff, right? I told y'all that the industry will not use PlayStation 5 as the flagship console for their devices or their televisions or anything like that. Why? Because Xbox is the true next-gen console, right? So when you look at CES, they showcasing Xbox. Now, the gaming outlets, journalists, and all of them are not going to use Xbox to influence the masses. Why? Because these gaming journalist outlets are all over the world, right? You got IGN USA, IGN Japan, IGN UK. You know what I'm saying? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? They're going to put out PlayStation because PlayStation is the #1 gaming marketing brand. I'm just trying to get y'all to see how this works. Then what's so sad is that they don't really like Xbox. They're donkeys. The CMA was full of donkeys. The media, donkeys. Social media, donkeys. Where do we go? Where do we go as Xbox fans? Ourselves. So when you jump up, right, and you got something good to say about Xbox, the first thing they're going to ask you, what else you playing? You got a PlayStation?
Yo, legal. I just want to add into this that you're saying right quick. Like, yo, and it's not like we're asking for news that's biased towards Xbox. We just want the news unfiltered by their biases. Because you hear it in their rhetoric, in the way they talk, the way they present it. It's already with a tilt one way or the other, and it's not one way or the other. It's usually one way towards PlayStation.
Well, Silk,
right?
You know why, right? You know why.
Of course.
This is something we've talked about. Legals talked before. It's the clickbait. They need the views. It's all about revenue.
I'm not even talking about the
business.
clickbait. No.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the clickbait. That's a whole other thing that in the press in general is just terrible in all types of news outlets, not just video games. I'm talking about specifically in how they talk when you actually read the article, not the headlines and all of that stuff, right? I'm talking about when you actually get to the nitty gritty and you read the article, even when they're explaining, the facts of whatever matter, they still have a tilt on it. Like the way they describe it, inherently you hear their bias in it. It's not just the facts and then leave you to decide and make your own opinion. They provide you with an opinion, right? And you never even get a chance to think for yourself if you're not that type of person. You just take what they say and you won't even notice it, right? Because most people, if you give them the example of what they're doing, it's so subtle that they won't even notice. And even if you show them the difference between them, they'll be like, that's nothing. What are you talking about? That's nothing. But in aggregate, it adds up and you see it clear as day. But when you talk about the sensationalism and the headlines and everything else, bro, most people don't even read the articles anyway. So those headlines, they come off how they come off, and already you're already thinking, one way or another. That's two things side by side that play off of each other, and they do it continuously against Xbox. But the great thing we've seen, especially recently now, in the past couple months, these news outlets are getting blasted for it. Their bias is so apparent. They're getting called out on it by everybody.
And it's been glorious.
It's been glorious to see. And the more these, from the ABK deal that we're starting to see, the more we understand this. And it can't be hidden and put in the closet anymore.
You know what it is too,
That's
right?
right.
Silk
That's
is
right.
like those biased fanboys in the media, they're starting to see that Xbox is a real threat now, that the competition is really there now, and it's never been there quite before. I mean, 360, yeah, but they always still felt comfortable with Sony's dominance, and now with this ABK deal, with everything that's going on, this has completely changed their mindset. They're panicking, they're freaking out. That's why you see them releasing these clickbait articles, these articles about Starfield over and over again. You can't fly to this, you can't land in planets in Starfield, and they've IGN repeating that article 3 times over. I mean, you clearly see it. I mean, I think it's a multi-factor of things. People, they start off, their first console ever is, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. They never really got to experience the full, optics of gaming with arcades, with Atari, NES, with Genesis.
Speak on it.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
hey,
Like
hey,
they
they
don't have the
they're so
feathers,
close-minded to the Sony environment
Yeah.
ecosystem. They don't know anything else outside of it, and they just it's I think it's a competition thing too, where they just think of like, oh, Sony's my main platform. Your Xbox is bad. It's trash. Like Sony's better.
But resident,
You know,
you're saying something that's dope, man. Because check this out. It's all they know. You
Yep.
are exactly correct, sir. They don't know anything else. Because, see, listen, once Sony came up with this beautiful plan to find the generational gap, right? Because we were already set. You either came from Intellivision or Atari to Nintendo or Sega. That was it. That was it. That was the majorities. That was it. We're not talking about the few that had some Neo Geos and some TurboGrafx 16s. We're not talking about that small percentage. We're talking about on the global scale, 2 consoles. You either had that Sega or you had that Nintendo. That's it. Sony came in and found that generational gap where they were like 6 years old to 10 years old. We were teenagers, bro. 95, 96, 97, we were teenagers. They wasn't coming after us because they already knew they didn't appeal to us like that. They grabbed that little generation that was right below us because I remember them. The parents started buying PlayStations to watch movies. These kids were running around with Crash Bandicoot, bro. They loved the hell out of that marsupial, right?
Yeah.
Xbox, when it came out, it was the #1 threat. It was the most wanted console. And even the most wanted console still was able to sell 25 million off the top.
And also the GameCube.
Oh, Game Heroes, watch this. My dude, Game Heroes. It outsold the GameCube. Can you imagine, right? Can you imagine? I just want people to understand this. Xbox was never scared. That's why I don't respect none of y'all who
At the
front on
height of
Xbox.
anti-Microsoft everything, in the middle of the antitrust suits and everything, when the hate for Microsoft as a whole was at an all-time high, they still beat Nintendo. But they just had the better product.
Facts. The antitrust series, you know, like Marvel Comics, the antitrust series from 97
of lawsuits,
to 2000.
Yeah.
Facts. Yep. These were wars that Microsoft was going through. The Di-RRec wars from 95 up to 2000. People don't know about this stuff. Microsoft was winning, beating everybody, doing these things. Line them up. AMD, NVIDIA, OpenGL, that got whooped, that turned into Vulkan. All these things happened because these companies did not want Microsoft being the king anymore. Microsoft had 90% of the PC space. 90%. So they had to go through all of this. The government, it had came down to where the government was like, listen, why don't y'all just split your company into 2? Part of y'all be Windows, a part of y'all be whatever else you want to do. Microsoft said, hell no. Windows is us just like everything else is us. They fought it. They settled it. There wasn't no loss. If you can settle something like that, that means you didn't lose. Microsoft stayed one company. Carry on. Basically, the government got money out of Microsoft, which it always does. They want the money. They'd rather take that money. They're not trying to get Microsoft. They need Microsoft. Microsoft right now is controlling the security over the internet for our government. They don't do nothing to Microsoft, bro. Microsoft's gonna win this deal. Microsoft is gonna be here. But
it's all just to make them look good politically.
Right, it's just it's gamemanship, Resident. People don't understand this is gamemanship. Look, I keep telling people, and I'm getting off subject a little bit. Why do celebrities or people with money take longer to get their court cases done? Because the court wants the money. If I know you got a lot of money, We're not trying to speed this up, right? I'm trying to drag it. I want to see how much money you're willing to pay the court to stay out of them bars. You get what I'm saying? And if you can pay for the long period of time, then hey, guess what? You bought yourself out. There you go. Thank you for all the money. Because everything has a time frame to it. They can't just keep milking you. They got to figure out, okay, what are you going to do? You know, at some point it's got to end. So either your pockets are big or your pockets are thin. What's happened was PlayStation has fell into its own trap. Xbox was never scared. Let's put some respect on it. Xbox came out at the height of PlayStation 2. At the height, when PlayStation 2 had no competition, Xbox came in, sold 25 mil, immediately outsold the GameCube. Immediately. Then dig this. Oh no, they didn't want American console in. So part 2 came and a big happened. The 360 hit, it came out swinging first, a year first. Boom. Right? Ends up selling 89 million. Come on, man, 89 million. Now I want people to think about this. Before PlayStation, consoles didn't sell 100 million. There wasn't no such thing as consoles selling 100 million. And it's still really not. Y'all heard me. And it's still really not. A lot of people still buy these consoles to watch movies on. The people live in different countries outside of America, people. That's facts. Everybody doesn't use that console to play video games in their country. Facts. The normal average number for successful units when we're talking about consoles, 60 million, 50 million. That's the normal. If you can get above that, you're doing astronomically well. So I want everybody to realize PlayStation 3 didn't sell no 100 million, but you see donkeys flagging that all around like it's victorious. Because, hey, 92 million ain't shabby. Neither is 89. You go look in history. It took 2 Nintendo consoles to beat out the 360. 2. One couldn't do it. The lowest amounted Xbox console still happened to sell over 60 million. That's not a failure, people. That's 60 million consoles out there. That's not a failure. You want to know what a failure is? 14 million. Ask Nintendo about that number. Xbox ain't never had 14 million sold anything. Never.
Hey, you know what another failure? The PlayStation Vita.
Facts.
That's so 15 million.
Speak on it, Game Zeros. Xbox ain't never sold that low. Now, I want y'all to understand something.
Yo, the Vita flopped like Stadia flopped because they just sat on their hands and did nothing with it.
Vita didn't have first-party support. That's the problem.
Facts. Now, I want to tell y'all
they didn't support their own thing.
I want to tell y'all something that these donkeys know. These donkeys know all of that. What they do is they hide in the bushes. What we do is show you where they're at in the bushes. That's what we do. We just point them out. We don't even bring them out of the bushes. We want them to stay in the bushes, but we just put the light on them. There you are. We see you. Oh, you don't want to talk about that. Because when we talk about it, we're toxic. Oh, don't go over there and look at what Legal's talking about, Six Layer talking about, Game Share, Real Spartan, and Resident. They toxic. Y'all look at that chit-chat community over there. Y'all don't want to hear none of this. Y'all rather go listen to people who talk. They don't even game. They just talk. Look, what are we becoming? Are we becoming a content created community? I thought this was about gaming. I thought this was about gaming, people. I got my man Cypher Man on Twitter every day showing you how far he done got on Wulong. I don't see nobody else putting in work. I see a bunch of talking. That's all we ever see. Y'all want to talk. I thought PlayStation was the #1 brand, right? We don't ever see video clips from these dudes.
Hey, Legal,
All they
there was
wanna do
actually
is
a
talk.
report recently on Twitter that showed there was more people playing Wolong on Xbox than they were on PlayStation.
Facts. Dude, you can look. Resident, I can go on Twitter and you can visually see it. All you see is clips from Xbox fans. You don't even see no clip from no Sony fan at all. It's visual. You didn't have to guess this. But I tend to realize that's the problem with the PlayStation community. And that's what's holding on. Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry, Bad Juju. Console limit is roughly 85 million. That 120 million PlayStation 4 or 30 million are Xbox ex-Xbox owners. I can agree with that because an exodus did occur. Facts. That's why I'm telling everybody right now, Bad Juju. I look, you heard it right here on Di-RRec Gaming. PlayStation 5 ain't selling no 120 million consoles. They lucky if they ain't get to 100. Then what's going to happen? Like I've been saying. What are you going to say then? Because let me tell you something. That's a lot of consoles. That's a lot of consoles that none of y'all played. None of y'all playing on. None of y'all bought. PlayStation's going to have to do like they did for the first VR. Go get you some PlayStation 3 units and combine it so they can sell it. Because it was a bunch of Viewmasters in that manufactory. There was a bunch of dildo ones from the PlayStation 3 era. They brought it over and combined that to give you something. That's the same thing they're going to do with this PlayStation 5. They done made all these consoles, and they're not even going to get bought. They're not even going to get close to 100 million, let alone 120. So what's going to happen? Xbox ain't got it. Hey, Xbox don't have to worry about that. Their last gen was 60 million. They ain't got to worry about that because if Xbox even gets that again, they succeeded. All their money is accounted for. But guess what? This isn't no longer a hardware issue anymore in the console industry. This is a software problem. This is a software issue. This is why they can't figure out how these numbers jumped on Xbox. Quack 781, welcome in, man. Make yourself at home. Black Krillin, salute, baby. That's why they can't figure this out. They're tripping because the numbers aren't there. See, they're still stuck on that VHS mode. They want those hard numbers. But what they're not understanding is there's too much fronting in this industry. People don't want to come out and say, man, I'm having fun on Xbox. Because for some reason, if you're having fun on Xbox, you're a fanboy. You can't come out here and being too happy about having an Xbox. You're a fanboy. It's crazy. You're automatically a fanboy. Automatically. Being happy about having, and don't tell them Xbox is the only console you got. You're super weird then. You're super weird. See, let me tell y'all something. The PlayStation community, the reason why they created narratives is for their own handicaps. They made those narratives so that they would look like a certain way. We don't make narratives. They're the ones that make narratives. Hey, they were making so many narratives, they were putting it in other people's communities. They had Xbox fans feeling like they had to do something in order to be validated as well.
Yes.
They brought their narratives and put it in our community.
Yeah, think about it, legal, right? So the narrative is that Xbox now have no first party games, right? So when Xbox do have first party games, like Grounded, Pennsylvania, Hi-Fi Rush, or another game, whatever, right? Adust Falls, Ori, right? These are first party games.
Right.
But the narrative now is, they had to be AAA. So you got to be that blockbuster games. So we got AAA narrative games, right? AAA games. But the other narrative is that, it's AAA, but you gotta have a 95 or 90 or Metacritic. Then it had to go to Game of the Year. Oh, when Xbox going to win Game of the Year? I see Dustin Ligarian made a video. I think before the Game Award, after the Game Awards, right? 2023 is Microsoft Shut Up or Break It, and this man listed all the Game of the Year that Microsoft never won a Game of the Year in the Jeff Keighley Game of the Year. But dude, like, who cares? Because okay, that's true. But if you look at the most playing games, like Halo got 20 million players, Sea of Thieves got 33 million players, all of these, like Grounded got 10 million players and everything, all of these games are successful. Microsoft doesn't chase trends. All right. A lot of these fake Xbox guys want Microsoft to be Sony 2.0. I think really say that. And that's fact.
Speak on it.
Because think about it, right? Hellblade. Now, I'm not playing that, but I will try out. But I didn't like the first game. But Hellblade fits the Sony template. A lot of Xbox gamers don't play these type of games, but they will try it out. But the reason why a lot of these Xbox guys are hyping up Hellblade because they want this Game of the Year nomination. Oh, finally, we won Game of the Year. But see, that's the problem. Because if you want Microsoft's, follow the, Sony template and the Sony, template, everything, you're not a real Xbox fan. That's my opinion. Well, the purpose what Microsoft made the Xbox is that, multiplayer games. There's a reason why they pushed Xbox Live in the OG Xbox era, right? They were Halo 2 was bigger than any first party PlayStation 2 games back then. Right? Then the 360 came in, multiplayer games was the all-time high. So like Halo 3, Gears, Call of Duty, these games, Left 4 Dead, all of these games were playing on Xbox. All right? Sony tried to make multiplayer games in the PS3 era. They all failed. So at the end of the day, like we, like Realist or Legal or Resident, Spartan or Six Later, we were there back in the days. We used to play, multiplayer games with our friends. The problem is that these fake Xbox gamers who went to the PS2, switched to the 360, and went back to the PS4, then go back to the Xbox Series X, is that they're not really a real, Xbox gamers. They want Microsoft to be Sony 2.0. Oh, Microsoft needs to make good single player games. Microsoft needs to stop making multiplayer games. But see, that's the problem. Microsoft is not going to follow the trend because I don't want to say this name, right? So it was a podcast, and this kind of disgusts me because it's just that my brain cells, I was losing brain cells, right? They said why Xbox never won Game of the Year since the Spike TV Video Game Award show crap they had back in the days to now. But if you look at all the Xbox games like Halo 3, Gears 2, do the 360 era, right? Mass Effect. None of these games won Game of the Year, but they were nominated. But due to the Xbox One era, there were a lot of bias against Xbox games. Like Gears 5, to my opinion, should at least get nominated Game of the Year. Ori should do it, or some games should do it. The problem is, and I look at the podcast, and he says they weren't popular enough, and they weren't trendy. Like, because these third person, because look, all of these games won Game of the Year of the Key to the Wars are third person action adventure games. Besides Overwatch What else? And that's it. Overwatch was the first one break that track. So, the end of the day, Microsoft doesn't make these type of games. So it's just a bias against Microsoft. And he says that the main problem with Microsoft is that they don't have a character represent a character like The Last of Us, Joel and Ellie. He said Master Chief is not it. I said to myself, wait a minute, Master Chief is not it. Why? Oh, because nobody cares about Master Chief. People care about Joel and Ellie. I said to myself, who the hell is Joel and Ellie? You're like, well, see, that's the problem because a lot of people.
Joel and Ellie doesn't even match up to God of War or any of the Tekken characters or anything else that's synonymous with PlayStation.
I will show the link to you because I don't want to.
Yeah, I'd seen the headline and people discussing. I didn't really read it because once I realized what they were saying, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble, so I just DM you guys and just watch it, right? And it disgusts me because Master Chief is way more popular than Joel and Ellie.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna forget Joel and Ellie. Okay, let's make it clear, right? I'm gonna ask everybody. I want everybody to answer at the same time because I know everybody can. In the Atari era, what character was associated with Atari and gaming in general?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Yep.
What character was associated with Nintendo in the 8 and 16-bit era? Mario. And with Sega, who?
Sonic.
Now, PlayStation has a number of characters.
0.
Right? No.
Crash.
There's Crash. There's God of War. There's countless, right? At the end of the line is Joel and Ellie, right? And we know for Xbox, that's goddamn Master Chief. Put respect on the name. That's what it is. Everybody knows this. It's not debated. Oh, and just to add a couple more to Nintendo, there's Zelda, there's Metroid, right? There's countless. And Sega is the same thing. Before Sonic, it was Alex Kidd, Shinobi, the Streets of Rage crew, okay? Toe Jam and Earl, okay? Because I don't want those dudes to sit here and say, oh, I said a bunch of names for Sony. Like, the game industry has been going on for well over 50 years. There were eras, even within each one of those platforms. PlayStation, Xbox, Sega. So there's plenty of names to account for. But how dare you even put Joel and Ellie ahead of represent PlayStation? That just shows you how absurd this person doesn't know about gaming to even make that comparison. Even if you want to make that comparison, you would say God of War, and even then it doesn't hold up to Master Chief. That's not even debatable.
But you said it. The guy, right on the podcast, right? I'll DM you the podcast, right? So the guy, he's their podcast is bigger than anybody. They have over 2,000 followers. I don't want to name his name. Well, we know his name, but we don't want any drama here. But he says, he lists all the games, right? On Microsoft produced, like Forza. He actually admits that Forza Horizon 5 should at least get a Game of the Year nomination, right? Because it was one of the best games came out in 2021. But the problem is, it's so bothering me because he says that a lot of these Xbox games don't have a story. It doesn't have a character that you attach with you. I don't play a game with a story because a lot of you guys, a lot of people here, right, who grew up with Atari, Super Nintendo, N64, Xbox, Sega, Genesis, or whatever, right? We don't play games with story. We play the game because of gameplay and fun. I don't give a crap about the story of the game unless it's I don't play games like watching a movie. All right.
Even Miyamoto himself said that story's not important. It's about the game.
It doesn't. It's not important.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the story of Mario and Zelda?
Right.
I mean,
it just helps to explain why these
story.
weird things are happening. Right.
Rescue the princess. That's it. You just rescue Princess Peach, but you go in that world.
Princess Peach is a thought. That's what's really going on.
But But that's the story, right? There's no story. But see, the problem is that Microsoft. The problem is that Sony brainwashed these people because because you need a story, because the story is there, because the story attached to you. All right, I don't play a game because of story. I play the game because of gameplay and fun. I don't care how good the game is. I don't care how good the story is. I'm not going to sit down and listen to some bunch of generic characters and talk about and with their feelings like God of War. He have daddy issues. I don't care about that. Sorry about my voice. I'm losing my voice. But end of the day, right? That's why he's trying to say Microsoft does not have a story. Like they don't have something like The Last of Us, like a God of War. That's why they would never get of the year.
The Game Heroes, long story short, that just goes to show that maybe he's just not an Xbox player. Because you can't play Gears of War, you can't play Halo, and say that Xbox doesn't have story-driven games.
But he's an Xbox.
It sounds like he's not a video game player.
He's not at all. But he's an Xbox player. Cause you know his name. I'm not going to sit down and tell his name. I will DM you right now.
Okay, DM me his name. Because I don't like talking to
you guys have seen who's on the media panel, the Game Awards, right? The Keeleys, like they're all like Metro.uk and like VGC. They're all like PlayStation biased media that are on that panel. So, I mean, of course, they're not going to vote Forza Horizon 5, even though we all knew that should have been Game of the Year. That was never going to win just because it's Keeley's. He's heavily PlayStation. Like, no matter how many people try to deny it, it's true. You see it time and time again. A lot of PlayStation titles end up winning it, except for Zelda, which I still think Tears of the Kingdom is going to win this year, even though I want Starfield to win. But, you know.
No,
Zelda, even though we don't know nothing about it.
Man.
PlayStation.
Top-notch box in the building. Hold on. We got top-notch box in the building. Shutting it down, man. New Legal, here's my put-in for the Xbox family plan. Xbox causes emotional damage with donkeys. Facts.
That's facts. But look.
Facts.
But Resident.
And you want to know what else? Resident? That's the Game Awards, bro. You know
that's funny?
Everywhere else, the Game Awards didn't reflect too well.
Yeah, it's the opposite, right? Every other outlet's the complete opposite.
That's right. People see, that's the thing. The gaming community, I told you, it's all about perception, right? So they throw Jeff Keighley out there, making you think that, the Game Awards, and put it all out there so that you think the Game Awards reflects everything. If you're not this person that's into doing your research, you're going to easily be fooled by that Game Awards show. Easily be fooled by it. What's up, Talibans? What's up, man? Look, there's tons of other gaming award shows out there, right? All across the world. And they hardly ever reflect the Game Awards. Because the Game Awards is just whack, bro. Let's just be honest. It's whack. Some of the stuff the Game Awards does don't even make no sense anymore. I mean, it's called the Game Awards, but it's really not the Game Awards. It's like it's an oxymoron to itself. It's nothing but a show where the industry basically takes care of itself. It's the Grammys, for heaven's sakes. It's the Grammys.
Now that it's been like,
you don't have a say so. It's the Academy pretty much voting itself around. Oh, I like this guy. I like this woman, whatever, let's vote him in. That's my homie over here, But the problem with this one was they could not have given Elden Ring Gotti. It was just too strong. Yeah, I can see Zelda winning the Game Awards, but I don't see it winning everywhere else. I don't see Zelda outdoing Starfield. I don't see not one single player game beating that. If that game comes out, let's say late October, it's over. It's over. You don't have to run to the Game Awards. I don't expect Starfield to win Gotti on the Game Awards.
You
I
remember
don't
how
know.
many awards Skyrim won?
Right,
Imagine
like
how
I
many
kept
awards
telling people.
Starfield's gonna win.
You look at all these so-called Xbox fans, right? Who were looking at the Game Awards looking for Xbox. This is how goofy we done got. And they literally got mad. Xbox came with nothing and still won something. It won the Impact Game Award. As Dust Falls, Xbox wasn't even trying and it still ended up winning something. Wasn't even trying. God of War was winning best nail polish in the game, best eyebrow arch in the game, right? The best ball head in the game. It was winning all these damn awards that no real gamer even cared about, bro. This shit was silly. I mean, it was literally silly. And the whole time I was like, they just dragging this whole show out. So in the end, Elden Ring gets Gotti. And everybody was like, it's God. I was like, how's God of War?
Illegal. Let's go back in time, right? What is called Spike TV Video Game Award Show. What was the first Game of the Year award?
Madden.
Let's prove my point.
A sports game.
I don't take this thing seriously because listen. I understand where people coming from in the industry because we have the Oscars, we have the Grammys, we got the Tony Awards, whatever.
We
right?
got the Nickelodeon Choice Awards.
Yeah. So games don't have an award show. So games doesn't have an award show, right? There's not a lot of award show for games, right? So I understand Jeff Keighley's point of view that he wants to make an award show. Give the developers some credit who make these amazing games. My issue with Jeff Keighley is his bias against certain genre and certain games. Open bias. Yes. Now, does the Oscars does the same thing too? Absolutely. And they admit that. Because Jeff Keighley wants the Game Awards be just like the Oscars. Because remember, the Oscars are not going to nominate a superhero game, a movie, right? They're never going to do that. Besides the Black Panther.
Oscars,
yeah.
Last year, Heroes.
Yeah, besides the Black Panther, they're not going to do it. They're not going to nominate Batman. They're not going to nominate the Joker. You can Hufflepuff all you want to, right? They're going to nominate something that what the industry wants. But see, one thing about the Oscars, they play the fair game, though. All right, they will recognize other genres of a film and open more slots that what deserve the best picture, right? They're not going to. So in the Game Awards, they're biased a lot of genres because it doesn't have this third person, action adventure game with a story. Besides Overwatch,
a dramatic, sad story.
A sad story. Besides Overwatch, because Overwatch was a first-person shooter. But besides Overwatch,
it couldn't be denied that year.
Yeah, it can't. But besides Overwatch, right? Elden Ring, Death Stranded, what else? Sekiro, what else? Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not saying these games are bad. They're masterpieces, right? Red Dead's an amazing game, right? But what about JRPGs? What about fighting games? What about horror games or shooters or something, right? There's a lot of different genres out there. Just don't get pushing the shove. Like for example, right?
But that's why the game of the year is not fair. Because
it's not fair.
Genres to say that one game is the game of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Because think about it, right? Street Fighter 6 coming out this year, right?
Right.
Let's say that should get a 95 on Metacritic. It's one of the best game of this year, right?
Not gonna make you cry.
But guess what? You look at the awards. Where the hell is Street Fighter 6?
Best fighting game.
It's a fighting game. Best fighting game. That's it. Just like happened to Forza. As only Forza, that's what happened to Gears. I remember Gears of War, right? In 2018, when Gears came out, 2019, right? So 2019, right? this guy, Jeff Keighley, I was there too, right? Jeff Keighley had the awards. Now I thought Gears would at least get a nomination for Game of the Year because it was a good game, right? It was a good game, but they didn't do it. Okay, fine. But realist, you think Gears at least get nominated best multiplayer game? Because it's a multiplayer game, right? No. Guess the multiplayer game was Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Division 2, and guess what they put in that last category of best multiplayer game? Tetris 99. That's crazy.
It's a good multiplayer game, bro.
But that's crazy. No,
hey, real quick, man, before you go, just like I said, that person who you don't want to name ain't no gamer. Don't know nothing about Xbox, because that's the same dude who said Killer Instinct had no impact in the fighting genre without even playing the game.
Facts.
Why are you even talking about it?
But I talked about it. It's not only him. There's a lot of them.
Is that the same person that was running around?
He came here, Paris, man. He came here.
Same person running around, VR on his head, and ain't never played VR. Don't tell me. Come on, man. Don't tell me like this.
But Dustin do the same thing too. But Xbox never would get up the air.
But you come on here bringing that dude like his words hold any weight. Like he has not even redeemed himself from his first fallacy, his first mess up when he said that. Dude, he lost all credibility with me. Yeah, he's good on the mic, he's good speaking or whatever, but he's not an Xbox guy. He'll go on Xbox shows for reasons, but he's not an Xbox guy. And he'd be the last person's word that I take on anything that has to do with Xbox. Done with that cat.
Yeah. But this is what I'll say, right? A lot of it just like the Game Awards is just a popularity contest, dude. I don't take this thing seriously. Yeah, do I want an Xbox game finally make it in the Game Awards and win? No. What does that have to do with me?
Yeah, but look, we keep talking about these Game of the Year awards, bro. And it's all stemmed from something that this dude said, man. Look, Xbox is gonna win Game of the Year awards, right? They're gonna have games of all genres, and at some point in time, one of these years, they're gonna come out with a game, and that's why I told y'all, whenever Hellblade drops, that's gonna be the game to do it, right?
But why is Hellblade? But why can't be
because it meets the criteria.
It meets the criteria.
Redfall does not meet the criteria. Starfield meets the criteria.
Yeah.
Like I said,
y'all
say it's gonna be Zelda, right? But if it's all about having drama, great story, who does it better than Bethesda?
Sony.
Y'all the ones that lose faith in Bethesda. Did you just say Sony?
Oh no, what you say again? Repeat it again.
No, because nobody does it like Bethesda.
Yeah, that's why no. So the closest one I say Obsidian.
You're gonna have Zelda come out with people chirping, no story. You save the princess, you get your Triforces. Not saying it's a bad game. But you're gonna put that against Bethesda title?
It's more of the same.
Yeah, game. I guess, realist, on the Game Awards we are.
Yep.
On the Game,
the only way to do that with any faith is because there's a real bias. This will prove that there's a bias if Starfield doesn't.
Exactly.
Hey,
really, hold on. Realist, I was hoping Games Reel was gonna jump and say that. But now that you said that, it goes to my point. That's exactly why I knew Elden Ring was going to win. Because it goes against every traditional thing that could possibly happen. When it scored a 97, right?
It's over.
Right. On Metacritic, the same outlets, they all work together, right? This is all in unison. We know this, okay? So when Metacritic has it at a 97, there's no way that the Game Awards could give it to anything else. It went against the grain. Now, the only thing Jeff Keighley could do to pamper for Sony was to move the date. Remember?
Yeah, he did move the date.
He moved the date.
because he
Said
won.
so that God of War could be talked about.
Okay, time out, right? So he moved the date, right? Now you're telling me, so why can't Halo Infinite could get a nominated Game of the Year? It came on December. It qualified to 2022. If you look at all that list of that Game of the Year, Halo Infinite had a higher Metascore score, but most of Jordan on that list, besides God of War and Elden Ring.
I got the answer to that, Games. It
We
came
know
out
the
too
answer.
late.
We know the answer.
Yeah. Oh, it came out too late. See what I'm saying?
No, it came too late, but it was qualified to 2022.
Oh, they won't do that.
They not do that.
Yeah, they
Cause
won't
remember,
do that.
cause
Yeah.
Yeah, they
remember,
did the same thing with Star Wars.
yeah, no, they did with Smash Brothers. Cause I remember Smash Brothers Ultimate, right? Came out.
Win the Game of the Year though. We already established the fighting game is not going to win.
No, I know, but he did get nominated. But look, Smash Brothers came out in December. It didn't get nominated. It was too late. You tell me that the whole entire year, that year, you put Smash Brothers in that category? A Nintendo game?
Facts.
But
It's Jeff
yeah.
Keighley.
Yeah. See, this is what Jeff Keighley do, right? He would nominate 2 PlayStation games, right? A multi-plat, and he will probably sneak in a Nintendo game because he wants to diversity the lineup. Come on, realists. Do you think Animal Crossing? I'm an Animal Crossing fan, right? But you think Animal Crossing is a Game of the Year contender or a better game than The Last of Us? No.
But I thought we already established that this was a popularity contest.
It's a popularity contest,
right? The reason why
Halo Infinite,
The Last of Us, what's the other one? Red
Wolfenstein.
Dead Redemption, God of
Redemption,
War,
yeah.
as story-based games, the way that they are, can be in the conversation, is they're popular too, right? Sekiro is probably the least popular game of the year to win. It Takes Two probably sold more copies than Sekiro.
That's another one. That's another one we'll get of the year besides that third-person cinematic game. It Takes
But
Two.
I would have to go back and look at what else was on the docket. What else was in contention for Game of the Year?
Yeah, it was bad. It was a weak year.
But you can't just release a good game. It needs to be popular too. You're not gonna get a game that's not selling 10 million copies that year to win Game of the Year. In most cases, like I said, Sekiro is the least popular Game of the Year award winner. But I don't know what it was up against.
Oh, Sekiro? Death Stranding.
Yeah, that was garbage.
That
was garbage. I don't care who likes it.
Sekiro had
I tried it
easy
twice.
Walk in the park that year.
It was. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. It was Control. That was garbage. Death Stranding, Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2, Smash Brothers, and the winner was Sekiro.
Yeah, and what's the name was probably the runner-up, but the Kojima game, and then Outer Worlds was better than that.
Yeah, yeah. But see, readers have a point though. If Starfield doesn't win, let's say for somehow Spider-Man come out this year, and Spider-Man win Game of the Year, you see how to buy it. That's
Spider-Man ain't no Game of the Year, bro.
It's not. It's not.
Never.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, look.
It's not.
Let Zelda win. All right, Starfield better be the runner-up. It better be a 2-game race, because when it comes in Hogwarts, maybe because of the popularity.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
You know what I'm saying? But there's no for me, in my taste, there's no way that I would take a Zelda game or probably most other Nintendo games. I can't think of one that I take over a Bethesda game, especially with the criteria of the Game Awards. Typically, a good story. Man. You got voice acting. You got all these other things. They probably give Starfield 50 other awards and not Game of the Year award. Kind of that's what they tend to do for games that really deserve it. But the one that they chose. Because you see, this year they gave God of War 50. They gave God of War like 20 awards, but then the Game of the Year goes to Sekiro.
You're right, because like this year, like Spider-Man 2 and Zelda, right? They're more of the same, right? Where Starfield's something completely different, completely new, something's never
Facts.
been done before, other than No Man's Sky, which I don't know why people keep comparing it. There's no comparison. It's a different game. Yeah.
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you something, right?
The same ones comparing No Man's Sky didn't even play the game.
They never played the
The
game.
whole community caught an L on that.
No Man's Sky is not the same thing as Starfield. But I'm gonna tell you something, right? I've been gaming a long time. I've been on the consoles a long time, right? I see narrative change. I see all this stuff go back and forth, right? You're not gonna change this overnight because if we have game journalists, first of all, a game journalist are oxymoron, in my opinion, because anybody can be a game journalist. Freaking legal can be a goddamn game journalist, right? He can make hey, my bad, legal, but you can make a goddamn website called the newlegal.com and put just like IGN and start reviewing games. And I bet you'll be on Metacritic in less than 2 years. All right, anybody can do that, right? The problem is, right? There's nothing wrong reporting the news, right? It's like CNN and Fox News, MSNBC, right? There's nothing wrong reporting the news. You have to be a neutral, but it's very hard to be a neutral because it's all about your preferred console.
Ain't no neutral stand.
There's no neutral stand because Jeff Keighley's preferred console is PlayStation. He's not neutral. You can see that, right? So there's a lot of these media outlets also get paid by not telling the truth. Because back in the days, right? When a developer make a game, a publisher, right? They give review codes, right? Now, when they give the review codes to the publisher, they run ads on their website. Like IGN run ads, GameStop run ads. So you're gonna go to GameSpot or whatever the crap called, or IGN. You see the ad on it, like like Battlefield 2 or Modern Warfare, Red Dead, whatever, right? You know that these games will get higher scores. Now let's have a take. Let's fast forward in 2010, right? Square Enix made one of the worst games of all time, in my opinion. Ken and Lynch. Now, if you like the game, more power to you. GameSpot had an ad on it. It was a guy named Jeff Grossman. Now, GameSpot told Jeff Grossman to play the game and review it. Jeff Grossman is a one-man guy. Remember, when you play a game and you review a game, that's your own opinion. I don't care. That's what problem people understand with Metacritic. It's their own opinion. It's not a number. The number, Metacritic does not dictate what's the name, the score, right? That's their own opinion. Jeff Grossman gave Ken and Lynch a 4 out of 10. Guess what GameSpot did? They fired him. You know why? Square Enix called GameSpot to take down that review because they gave GameSpot so much money to run ads, and they thought that you have to give it at least a 7 to an 8 or 8.5.
And that's the origin of Giant Bomb.
That's the origin
a lot of his boys left with him, and they started Giant Bomb.
Giant Bomb, and that's where you can see the dishonest of the media. And this has been here for years, right? So all of this here is not going to change overnight. So it's just that we gamers, we need to stop listening to these guys. But the problem is, we know the media is dishonest, but there's a lot of people in the world doesn't know that. People's going to go on.
Yeah, but Game Zero, no, I don't believe that. But here's the thing: people have selective memory, and I think we're all subject to that, though. And look at this Jeff Grossman a situation you just explained, and the origin of Giant Bomb. That's new. That's not news to nobody. Everybody knows that that's the origin of Giant Bomb. That's where they came from. that's how it came about, right? We know that already. Most gamers who's concerned about any of this stuff knows that already. It might not be a thing you remember at the top of your mind, but once you hear the story like you told it, it instantly reminds you, and you're like, oh yeah, that's where Giant Bomb came from.
Yeah, that's where Giant Bomb came from.
Right. But there's countless other things like that we all know. We all know, right? About the industry, about the press, about this outlet, about that outlet, about this particular person at outlet, at that particular person at that outlet. We know what they do all the time. If it's Kotaku or IGN, if it's Jason Schreier or this guy or that guy, Gershman, whatever you think of them, it doesn't even matter, right? If you like them or don't like them because of whatever platform you root for, and thus, what they report on, either helps or hurts you. Because I guarantee you, most Xbox dudes who don't like Jason Schreier don't like him because of what he did. Not so much because he's right or wrong or not, even though indeed he's wrong, but it's not even about the wrong or right. It's about what he's doing against Xbox, right? And so to play, everybody's human. We all do that. I'm not going to say in front like we don't, right?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, all these things already. All these little, what's the word there to use? Like facets, right? All these things. So when you see the press report on things, right? And we all fall right into the trap of what they're saying and how they're framing it. Like, why are we even bothering to see it from their lens in the first place? That's why I always say I only need the facts from these news outlets and nothing else. I'll decide for myself.
But
even how they frame it is flawed.
But 6 Layer, it's just like CNN, right? Sometimes they don't tell the truth. But you gotta understand, it's a machine, it's a propaganda machine.
Right.
That's basically what it is. Fox News is 99% wrong. But guess what? People still watch this crap. People still gonna listen to Tucker Carlson, if you're still there. People still gonna listen to all of these news. So at the end of the day, it's just like IGN. Yeah, I got a cat. Someone get out.
Yeah, I agreed with you.
Get out of here. Yeah. But look, so that's why, right? All of this here is a propaganda machine. The guy for VGC, right? Andy Robinson, he got called out. Talk about if the Activision deal doesn't go through, what happened to Xbox? They're gonna sell the Xbox division. Really? Why?
And it takes extreme examples like that shouldn't even be the standard. That's an extreme example for people to stand up and say, what the F? But stuff like that's wrong is said every day, multiple times a day by the same usual suspects even. Why they're even giving any attention is beyond me. Besides the biases and every stuff that people have, put that aside, right? They're just wrong consistently to be listened to, right or wrong.
But guess what? If you want a website, 6 Layer, you want clicks, right? More clicks you get, the more money you get. More avenue.
But that's the thing. Everybody knows it, but they fall for it anyway. Is my point. It's not
because
about Xbox or PlayStation either, right?
But
everybody knows that's how it works, though. But people.
But that's how the media works. Not only the game media, the news outlets. And not only the news outlets, fake websites do it all the time. You gotta understand, they gotta pay the bills. So I gotta pay the bills. Kotaku,
that's right. Saying, the bottom line is they're gonna take care of their flag.
Because Kotaku know they're wrong. Kotaku will make a stupid statement today. Yeah, Kotaku, whatever. They will make a whole stupid article right now. Phil Spencer fired. But guess what? I bet you there's a lot of people who celebrated. People say, finally, Lionfield, J-Dubs, all of them are coming out of the woodworks, right? Then my Xbox will say, no, that's not true. He's still there. But they want that. They want the clicks. They don't care about the news. It's not just the clicks. It's not just the clicks. Because see, remember me and you talked about this legal. And sorry, guys, sorry I'm so late. Family stuff going on. But it's not just that. You're right. It is the clicks, but there's more to it than that. You got to remember that. That how long ago was it that it came out that people have been stating that Sony has been kind of like sliding in the bag here and there for various things. A lot of them, the back of their hand has been getting patted and and massaged by Sony. Mm-hmm. And so don't be surprised if you walk into some of them offices like back in the day and you saw like you remember the old Sony Vaio computers and laptops and stuff like that they stopped making. Well, I don't know if they still make them anymore.
No, they don't make that anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is, don't be surprised if back then you was finding a lot of that stuff or like Sony equipment, like cameras and everything. And also another thing is it's like, to me, I look at it like this. It's kind of like the situation, because this is where me and Legal was talking about it a few days ago, whereas it's kind of almost like the situation of changing over from DVD to Blu-ray, whereas the next step up people was thinking was going to be HD DVD, because HD DVD, there was like no real work behind changing over. You just had to change out two little things in the assembly line, and you was done. Whereas Blu-ray was, you had to do a complete overhaul of everything. So a lot of these people is like, you're telling them to completely overhaul everything to switch the crown over back to Xbox, and they're like, the hell with that. It's like it you know how long it took us to get where we're at, and plus the PlayStation user base is bigger. Be like, no, we're gonna keep mashing Xbox the hell down. So we like it costs too much money and effort and too much time to have to change over, and there's not enough of you Xbots out there to justify it. So that's where I'm coming from at it. Whereas like it's this struggle, and it's like it's frustrating, but to me it's also hilarious. Because I'm just watching them like chickens with their heads cut off, run around just struggling, trying to just kicking and flopping, trying to stay alive with whatever they can throw at us, thinking that it's going to stick. And then when they see that it don't stick, they go back to kicking and flopping some more because they can't find anything. They can't find nothing, and that's how I see it. This is it, man. This is the last gasp, as I've said it before.
I'm just shocked they ain't went to the console sales. That's all. I'm just shocked at that.
Oh no, that's coming. They trying to save that as the atom bomb. That's their H bomb. They're trying to hold on to that. But the thing is, they're gonna drop that, and they're gonna find out that, oh shoot, nobody activated the other detonator.
No, they're gonna drop it and say, oh shoot, we dropped it on ourselves.
Be like, you're gonna drop, like I said, they're gonna drop it. It's a dud. It's no good. So that's my take on it, because all of y'all are hitting it. But there's also that other factor as well, where it's like for a lot of like established publications, which a publication is still a business no matter how you slice and dice it. You're asking them to spend more cheddar to have to change things over, and also to risk, because right now they got a nice, good, smooth flow going, and you're asking them to basically risk that flow, and all of a sudden kind of like cause some sort of a stir up that might alienate like a huge amount of their viewer base, no matter how neutral this viewer base proclaims they are. No, they're there for the PlayStation stuff. They're there for the Xbox slamming. And all of a sudden you snatch that rug from under them. It's like oh no, I better take myself somewhere else. I don't like what I'm hearing.
Those headlines, should Microsoft sell off Xbox's game division? Come on, man. Like, really? And it's
I can help but laugh.
Okay,
hey,
Resident.
They worried about Xbox.
Hold on, real quick.
They better be worried about Sony.
Yeah, but let Microsoft sell off the Xbox division. Who could afford it?
Amazon. Or
They can afford Sony.
Yeah, they can afford Sony. If Microsoft's supposed to worth $600 billion, who can afford it? See what I'm saying? They don't even think. They just type up dumb stuff, knowing it's going to get clicks.
It wouldn't be 600 because don't they mark it up?
yeah, they do.
Listen, I'm just trying to make it easy for them because there's no company out there with enough cash to buy it.
What are you trying to say? They coming at you with like greenback stamps.
Man, they got to come up. Look, my guy said Amazon
It's
is
a
worth
it's a Jim
$1
Ryan IOU.
Yeah, but Amazon is worth $1 trillion. You got Google worth $1 trillion. Xbox division is supposedly worth $600 billion. Where does that fit in any of those companies' budget? What are they gonna They're gonna parcel it off? Like if $7 billion made Google get out of the game, who's willing to spend that kind of money for what Microsoft has?
Nobody.
These people just say dumb stuff without even thinking.
No, it's not about. Listen, once again, right?
Here, let me use my EBT card.
Hey, that's funny. But listen. It's not about saying dumb stuff, right? Because no, remember, Microsoft got the Tomb Raider deal, right? The Rise of the Tomb Raider time exclusive in 2015. The whole media, this is not fair. And, PlayStation gamers cannot play Tomb Raider. Some jackasses out there talking about Tomb Raider started on PlayStation, and that's not true. It's not on the Saturn. And all that stuff. Angry Joe came out and talked about, this is bad for the business. 6 weeks later, Street Fighter V is exclusive for PlayStation. And nobody never talked about that. Sony literally took away, I would say, 60% of the fan base who bought Street Fighter 4 on Xbox. Nobody never talked about that. And that was the lowest Street Fighter game of all time.
Why would they talk about that game?
But the reason,
why would they talk about that?
Wasn't Realist's favorite reporter Shaggy McCaffrey's clapping for that too?
Yeah. But look,
that's y'all boys who accepted him as some kind of Xbox guy.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know who that cat is.
Look, why would they talk about this? See, Microsoft doesn't deserve exclusives.
Right? They don't.
Yeah. So when they took away Tomb Raider, how could they? Not with any one of them, not even reporting the truth of the matter, which is that Tomb Raider wouldn't even been in development without Microsoft.
Because they funded it.
Microsoft had to convince them that it was a good investment, and then they funded the project. But still, these guys think Sony deserves what Microsoft brings, right? But Sony can have their exclusive. Microsoft can't.
Sony can have theirs. Nintendo can have theirs. Yeah, but Microsoft needs to give everything they got over to them.
Yeah. When is it coming to PlayStation? They're about to find out the hard way that Microsoft is not in business to keep Sony afloat.
In the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, that's Sony's problem, not mine.
The funny thing is, there never existed a Starfield version. It's always was made for Xbox, like the Game Pass PC. Like it's never been developed for PlayStation. Todd Howard's even come out and admitted that.
I don't care, Resident Gamer.
I don't care.
Why do we care? Yeah. It's not coming.
I look at it like this.
PlayStation wanted timed exclusivity on that game.
Facts.
Go ahead, boss.
Oh no, I was gonna add some sauce to that and just say that, to everybody out there in viewer town that's like, checking us out, is till sun up to sundown, till Redfall drops, till Avowed drops, Fable, knowing damn well these are first party games and stuff. They're gonna keep doing this because there's no other ledge on the cliff for them to hold on to, and their fingers are going numb. It's time to fall. It is time to kick the fingers off the cliff. It's done. It's over. There's no need to go back and forth with them because this is all they got. I keep saying it. This is the last gasp. It's over. And if they want to sit there and keep playing like Phil's a liar, Microsoft is evil, you Xbox are evil and all that stuff, then by all means, call me Darth Negro. Embrace,
They
You
bought
said
real.
Microsoft about to sweep the
embrace
leg,
the
bro.
darkness.
Do you know
Embrace
another
the
part of
darkness.
it too is because like the PlayStation fanboys specifically, Bethesda used to be multi-platform right before, and now that Microsoft bought them, now they feel like Microsoft took Bethesda away from them because they're no longer going to be releasing any games on their platform.
They did.
So they're
Now
crying about it.
what they gonna do about it?
Residents, you want to know what cracks me up? Is this whole entire time, right? They've been holding up a fake narrative this whole entire time. They've been throwing a bunch of air at us, right? For years and years and years from their own ignorance. You know, it used to be, the reasons why they had a PlayStation. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it, right? The games. I remember games, right? They went through their phases. It was the
Hey,
game.
Lego, what games?
Then it went from when Xbox came on the scene, right? And I remember what shattered their hearts. Listen, there's only 3 games that I remember. Actually, 4 games that I remember that were shattered dream games that made a console gamer just like Rilla said today. You picked the wrong one when you had that moment where, damn, I picked the wrong console. I can name them. One was Sonic the Hedgehog. you got that Nintendo, but when that Sega Genesis came out, and you saw how fast Sonic was moving across the screen, you knew you picked the wrong console. Second one, oh damn, there's 5. Second one, Double Dragon on Sega Genesis again. When you was on Nintendo and you had that one-player experience, that single-player experience on the iconic Double Dragon, and here comes Sega again with the 2-player co-op, Billy Lee, Jimmy Lee on screen.
Hey, Legal.
Damn.
Hey, Legal. How about the perfect arcade translation of Strider?
Number 3, Mortal Kombat. When you was a Nintendo fan and you didn't see no blood coming off on that screen, that moment of, damn, I picked the wrong console. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto Deluxe Edition. I'll never forget it. It was like it was yesterday when I could literally see all the letters on the billboard. Oh, that's what it says. Oh, that's what that said. Oh, that's what that said. Because on PlayStation, everything was blurry. You think your games are ashy today. On the PlayStation 2, everything was blurry. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto Deluxe Edition like it was a brand new game on Xbox. I mean, running so smooth, all the graphics was detailed. That was that moment where you was like, damn, I picked the wrong console. Now, today, when those games, I told y'all, you can have those third-party games, right? You can have them. The third-party games are all political games to me. All political games to me. That's where the politics get played at. But the truth of the console war, when you think about the reason why I bought my Xbox, you're going to see this year when Redfall drops, Starfield drops, Stalker 2 drops, Dark Tide drops.
Hellblade 2.
No, it ain't dropping this year. But yeah. I mean, in the long run, of course, they doomed them long time ago with that. They doomed them last year. They doomed them so bad that they're talking about that was a cutscene.
They couldn't believe it was gameplay. They kept saying it was CGI, remember?
Right. You know they're used to that, though. If you go back and watch the God of War entrance, that's 15 minutes of just looking at the game. There's no reason to even pick up the controller for 15 minutes with God of War. Starting at the beginning, bro. That ain't even no lie. But they were gonna sit up here and swear to the heavens, right? Oh, that was cutscene. All right, whatever.
Was it you real that said like, am I playing a movie or am I playing a game? Right?
Y'all got to get it right. It's in engine. It's in engine cutscene. There you go.
Look, man.
Hey,
Look,
but it wasn't a cutscene
for
at all.
some motorsport-
The biggest fanboy had even lead with, "This is all gameplay."
Yeah,
The boy still didn't believe it.
Made them cry this year. Made them cry. Because what did we say? You don't want to see those Xbox Studio games. You don't want to see that in-house. You don't want to see none of those games. They're not cross-gen. They're not gimmicky. You know, the Xbox team didn't lie. When they said they were discontinuing in the Xbox One, they meant that. They weren't carrying it over. They meant that.
That's why they slammed Fable so much over Forza Tech.
Resident Evil 4 ain't no cross-gen. Ain't nowhere for these games to go. Hi-Fi Rush, no cross-gen. That's what got y'all looking stupid. When y'all realize, oh, I can't play this on my Xbox One. Y'all was out there running your mouth, and then found out you can't play it. You got to go out here and buy an X or an S.
Yeah, they canceled that version.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. These games are next gen. This generation is called next gen. Y'all over here want to play around with it. You think because you're the #1 brand, oh, we all supposed to just flop over to the PlayStation. Bro, listen. Your controllers don't last long enough for me. This isn't over here on Xbox. There's no such thing as part-time gaming. We don't part-time game over here. Our stuff lasts. We play to last. We actually got a community we get into. Our controllers don't need to be charging after 3.5 hours to 4 hours, bro. We don't put that on no charger. Our batteries last longer than that. And I'm talking about the detachable batteries. I'm talking the Duracell batteries last longer than that. Like, everything about your stuff, man, is just temporary substances. You got a controller out here that's supposed to be your premium controller, and then he's charging after 4 hours. Like, y'all can't make this up. I know it makes y'all mad. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Wolf of Darkness for putting all that truth out there today. Had a whole bunch of folk doing the hokey pokey out here. I'm like, damn. The dude said sell your PlayStation 5 for these reasons. You even have folk out there talking about, nah, you ain't got to sell your PlayStation 5. What? What? All right, let's talk about it. Everybody wants to catch amnesia about PlayStation for some reason. 77 million people got hacked. Right now, what's so funny is, right now, Sony just lost, right? Just lost a lawsuit for actually overcharging their own fan base by 30% on add-ons. So there's a case right now, there's a claim right now that if you owned the PlayStation from 2016 up, you might be getting something. All you got to do is go in there, put your information down. You got people capping for PlayStation. When PlayStation does these things, look, you get your account hacked right now, bro, you ain't getting it back. They just going to look at you and say, oh, we sorry. You want me to overlook that? I'm not you. I'm not in here for handouts. We know why you dudes did the Fruit Loopy. We know why y'all did the loop. We get it. Y'all want those handouts. Y'all want to get in with that industry. Y'all want to do what's told to you. We ain't, listen, man. This is gaming talk. We're not in here to be telling, we're grown men. We ain't here for somebody to be telling us what we need to say. Over a video game? Talking video games. Talking about something that I'm going to end up getting if I want it or not. The industry isn't growing because you're a content creator. What? content creating don't buy video games? Direct gaming doesn't buy video games? Me recording, making a YouTube show doesn't buy video games. Money does. A person with money does. And it's a choice. It's not mandatory. You can buy all these games and not even play them. You can have a whole stack of physical and digital copies of games and don't even play them. You can sit up here and just talk about how you buy games all day. These are possibilities. So when are we going to like draw the line? We just going to let folk out here just be talkers. Just because you like this dude. There's no pressure. I see the industry. I see the little field player followers. They like people that don't put no pressure on. Y'all rather get with somebody that's talking about other people. Ain't got nothing to do with gaming. But yet the show is about gaming. The title of the podcast or the channel has gaming all in it. But tune in and they talking about people. Or they get up on a show and they don't really have no knowledge. They just there. The industry likes to put these puppets in place that they don't even know what's going on. They just there. Ain't none of them finna save PlayStation VR 2, just like ain't nobody gonna save Atomic Heart. Come on. We're all grown people out here. We know what's going on. It's a video game, though. Like, when do we ever care, bro? A good game's a good game. When do we ever care? You're a consumer. You at the bottom of the totem pole, bottom line. You're not heading no $1 trillion company, no $1 billion company, or even $1 million company. So you ain't bossing anything. There's a whole lot of people on YouTube. Millions of people with YouTube accounts. Millions. So what? There's millions of people who got consoles. Millions of people who got PCs. Millions of people got phones and tablets. Gaming can be anywhere. There's millions of people in them arcades. Millions. But what cracks me up is most y'all that be talking ain't never ran no game. Ain't never ran a game in your life. Never championed anything. You dudes out here acting like y'all the last dragon. That's why we got shown up in here. Y'all be up in here acting like y'all the last dragon. Y'all ain't no last dragon, man. Y'all comics out here. Anytime the Xbox community gets anything good, starts talking about it, y'all want to start getting doomy and gloomy. Y'all don't want to be classified with that. Because I want to review a game. Y'all don't even want to talk fairly about anything. You can see the goofiness even when you try. It's sad out here. Cats want to be neutrals. They want to be protons and neutrons. Come on, man. We all know what it is. When you put them truths out there, most gamers have one console. Come on out here and tell me which one you like. You ain't fooling nobody. Just like y'all didn't fool us when you said y'all had those high-end PCs.
Facts.
This is all facts. You wasn't fooling me, bro, because I already knew the business. Buying shit just to let it collect, just so somebody check you.
High-end PC, because if you really had the high-end PC, you would do like everything else that you ever get. You would floss all across the internet. We would know already. It wouldn't be a question. Right.
Right. You would floss
right.
it.
And then meanwhile, you got dudes like, was it Jay? It's one of the J's, J Dub, whatever. He's like, oh, he sold his X. No, not J Rock. One of these PlayStation ponies, right? Like one of these dudes, like, oh, he sold his Xbox, and you see it on his screen right behind his monitor. Oh, that's just the fridge. Yeah. Fact. Why the hell do you even have an Xbox fridge then?
Fact. Just dumb. Clown himself. Automatic L. Automatic L for being stupid, for jumping up with them emotions, and then emotions just let you down. It's funny, man. I'm telling y'all,
It's
goofy.
Twitter's a
I'm glad
look.
that the streets is talking back now, because they never wanted y'all to talk back. They never
Hey,
wanted y'all. They always wanted y'all to be quiet.
Hey, but Dave Chappelle always says, right? Twitter is not a real place. This is not.
Right.
It's not.
Taliban's. Look at
It's not.
Taliban's right there. We're gonna end it. You know what? As a matter of fact, we're gonna end the show with that. I see you, Vodka, man. You got the glow. That's right. When a car is in neutral, it's going nowhere. Exactly. You have to, a car neutral has to be pushed. Facts. Has to be pushed. So all you dudes claiming all this new, listen, we ain't in it. We ain't in it. I got a breath of the wild moment. Some new breath just hit my lungs. Hold on, real quick. What y'all think about this? Jim Ryan told his whole PlayStation community that you're not enough. Makes perfect sense, right? So all the 0.07 clowns that you see on Twitter, they ain't doing nothing for Sony. They just doing a lot of talking. They just doing a lot of cheerleading. Phil Spencer is not worrying about me. I've been here on Xbox for 20-something years. I ain't never went nowhere. I'm here. They're not worried about me. Sony wants me to buy a PlayStation. There's only one fact. Somebody's audience grew by 20 million. Somebody's didn't in the service game. Jim Ryan would love to see me get on Twitter and say, I bought a PlayStation 5. You know why? Because that's where the real increase is. If I had a company, right, and my diehard fans came in and bought up my stuff, I'm done. I don't worry about them anymore. I want new people to come in and experience this. That's when you grow. That's why Jim Ryan said we want to reach more, because our games aren't reaching more people. The ones we have right now are not enough. Makes sense. The problem with PlayStation is no one's running over there. You know why? This ain't the generation. ABK deal's about to drop. There's a big exodus already happening. 20 million. It's going to be bigger than that. They can't afford, some of them probably can't even afford the Series X right now. But they got a device. Guess what they done? They got a device. They got a tablet, they got an iPad, they got a Samsung notebook. They got something. And you know what they doing? They playing Xbox on it. We got the facts. With the numbers aren't lying. But PlayStation Plus ain't selling. There's no day and dates, nothing over there, because that'll ruin those games. When you're a little bank, you can't do things like that. Y'all been going around carrying air weight. Nothing. Y'all just found out that Sony is relying on third-party games to GoFundMe those first-party games. Now I see why y'all ain't seen a speck of Spider-Man 2. Now it makes perfect sense. They ain't got the funds to show you Spider-Man 2. You're not going to see Spider-Man 2 until that damn movie comes out.
That was my last question. Is there gonna be anything else other than Spider-Man 2 for Sony this year?
Facts. Now Resident, dig this. We're in a 10-year, I put it 10 years, right? 10-year generational span. 8 years tops, right? If I was a PlayStation fan, we're looking on the outside. So you want me to buy a PlayStation 5 right now. What's there to showcase for it? Okay, you got God of War, cross-gen. Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, miss me with that.
Returnal,
I'm laughing. Forspoken. Now we about to fight. Astrobot.
Horizon.
We're fighting. Horizon Zero Dawn. We're still fighting. Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, we're pulling out weapons now.
Last of Us for the
The
third
Last
time.
of Us remake part 1. You see what I'm saying? It's hilarious. And so
Demon
all
Souls,
these games
you know.
have already been put out, Residents.
Yep.
And Resident, it's only been 2 years. It's not even been 3 years, man. And they done put all their games out.
Yeah, most of their first parties released
Most
their
of their
games.
first-
It's going to be another 4 or 5 years before they can release another game.
Look, so I'm trying to let everybody know. Don't hold your breath if you think these donkeys are going to be coming off of social media anytime soon. They're about to start camping out on social media because they ain't got no more games. So listen, it's like I said, this is going to be a slow situation, but it's going to happen, okay? I set up my altar. My sacrificial altar still sits up. It ain't went nowhere because I already destroyed Kratos on it, right? So now, since Sony had to rush these games out because I really wanted Hellblade 2 to go up against Kratos. I wanted to see Obliteration, but I didn't get a chance to see Obliteration. I get it. The industry's too sensitive for PlayStation. So now, Spider-Man is supposed to come out this year. I would love to see Spider-Man come out same time Starfield comes out. That'll be Obliteration. But once I get Spider-Man on that altar, bro, and those flames burn it up, see, it ain't even going to matter. Shout out to future generations. See, this is the funny part. At this point, it doesn't even matter what Spider-Man 2 does. That's it. Wolverine ain't going to top it because if Insomniac's got it, it's going to be a kid Wolverine game. You got Wolverine just stabbing people in the chest in the
Well,
back.
no, they already confirmed it's going to be mature.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
Well, you're going to have Wolverine cutting some heads off now. Okay, great.
I already told y'all what that game is going to be. That game is going to be him walking around caring for Jubilee, just like in the comics and stuff. Just like, you're going to have that dad.
Old man Logan.
That's right. You're going to have your heavy emotional, tear jerking, single player narrative thing going.
That would be the best thing for them to do is the Old Man Logan arc.
Old man Logan, old drunk Logan, right? Now dig this. That's the end of their generation. That game needs to come out 2026. Because let me tell y'all what's still coming out for Xbox. Avowed, Hellblade 2, Fable, Outer Worlds.
Indiana Jones.
That Indiana Jones is going to murder Wolverine.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Hey, I didn't say this.
Perfect Dark.
Hey, listen. I ain't say this, but I didn't say nothing. Killer Instinct coming out this year. But see, games like that, one thing about Xbox, all your games you mentioned, they're all different genres and different experiences.
Fact.
Right? Doesn't matter you don't like certain genres, right? Some people don't like RTSs, so some people are not going to play Asian Empires, Asian Mythology, the other game called Aura something, also history. Doesn't matter. There's people out there actually play that. There's people out there who want to play Hellblade. People want to play Starfield like RPGs. Some people like kill fighting games, so they're going to play Killer Instinct.
Versus the 6 coming.
Yeah. Versus
State of K3.
State of K3 versus the competitor who made the same third person over the shoulder game the past 10 years.
Street Fighter 6,
Mortal Kombat. We got all the fighters.
All three in 1 year.
But fellas, you know what? It really don't matter the names of all these games. This wide host, this smorgasbord coming from Xbox. We're talking about guys coming at us that don't even have a roadmap. The fact that you can name all these games that are coming in the years, right? There's so many games that y'all haven't even mentioned. The fact that we're talking about comparing Xbox to another platform that has no roadmap. That's enough said. They don't even have.
Hold on a second.
They didn't earn a seat at the table.
Got no games.
They got Spider-Man, so I can't say they have no games.
But realist, what? Hey, realist, when the showcase coming out?
Who?
Damn.
That's a
Sony.
game, not games. We know one game. What multiple
Yeah,
games?
okay,
No.
yeah. What,
How
they
many
have no
do they have?
games.
Free-to-play.
Right? They have no games. They have a game, right?
Right.
Dude,
They have Final
look,
Fantasy
it's been
16, which is even better.
Right.
But I've been
right.
telling y'all, Sony won't
Stellar
put
play.
together a showcase because right after, you remember, all last generation, not all last, but the second half of last generation, when Xbox was, debating on what they were going to do in the gaming industry. They make a little announcement, and then either the same day or the next day, Sony will drop something.
Facts.
But you notice now that they don't even try anymore. It's like we're gonna have to just let them do their thing. Let Big Dog over there do their thing, and we'll just do what we do when we can. They're going on 2 years without a real showcase, right? And then you got these fake Xbox fans trying to call out Xbox for this and for that. It went from Xbox not showing them enough to Xbox is showing them too much.
Facts.
These dudes will never be happy. But
No,
I know
they're
when it
not.
comes to ponies and guys on Twitter that you guys like to reference, we're going back and forth with dudes who don't even know why they're on their platform.
Facts.
The only thing that they can hope for is sequels of games that they have already.
Facts.
When you got Xbox on the verge of closing, well, this is the only one that can be made. It's the biggest acquisition in gaming, right?
Facts.
There's nothing for us to talk about. All they can do is sit back and watch the show.
They
Or
all
make the
will
right
fail
choice.
you.
Bet on the right horse. It's a new race.
It
And
is
get
what
your
it
Xbox.
is. This is gaming. Y'all
Or
hate it.
boot up that high-end PC you've been lying about for the
Y'all
past
hate
few years.
that.
And watch some
Y'all
horse
hate that
jokes.
with a passion. But we love it. We love, did I pick the right one or not? Bro, this is all realistic. You can't get around it. I don't care what you feel. I don't care if you don't like me. Listen, this is the way it is. This is the gaming culture, right? You either gonna pick the company that's innovating or you gonna pick the company that's not. But don't tell me, just buy them all. You crazy as hell. I'm not going to buy no more Nintendo games that are been as old as my grandpa. And they still $70. They still $59.99. I'm not doing that no more. You can do that, right?
What are you talking about? Them things about to go up to $70.
But I'm not buying them. Nintendo's going to have to do something more than just what they're doing. That technology is 3 generations old. I'm not putting my money into that no more. We're in next gen now, right? My stuff's got to look like it's current. You want me to buy a PlayStation that was a lie from the start. It's going to be, we believe in generations. Lie. We cross-gen now. True. We got
8K
first-party
gaming.
blowout games. Lie. We are $70 is art. Lie. Games flopping. Games being destroyed. Games dying on release. The only game that did anything in y'all generation so far is God of War. But we knew, and that's cross-gen. They won't even dare to tell us the numbers. They don't want to tell us the numbers of that. But one thing that we see that's clear, nobody's jumping over on that PlayStation 5 no time soon. They all staying over there because they ain't got no reason to jump. If you're going to make cross-gen games, I'm good. I'm good right where I'm at on PlayStation 4. I'm good. They don't need you got a console where the features don't even work. You got rest mode. You got your fan base scared to use rest mode out here front. I leave it on all the time and I leave it. Stop lying. I use it all the time. Stop lying. You got a fan base out here that's pretending their console don't sound like jet engines.
Wasn't there a data set legal that came out recently that said like 30% of PS5s haven't even been turned on or something like that?
Haven't even been turned on, resident. Haven't even been turned on.
Because they're still sitting in people's garages and basements.
Facts. Haven't even been turned on. You can blame it on COVID all you want to. You can put it on it. I don't care what you blame it on. Here's what you listen. At the end of the day, wipe your face, Stop
You can
crying.
blame it on the goose if you want, whatever.
You can
brother.
put it right. You can blame
Blame
it
it on the
on.
rain. Blame it on King Koopa.
You can blame it on the rain. Blame it on the rain. You can vanilly this whole situation, right? But I told y'all, and I say this with a straight face, I told you they were going to fail you this gen. I told y'all all of them was going to fail you this gen. Every single one of them. Every cockadoodle-doo, every Jack Sparrow, every double agent, every centaur and half-breed is going to fail you this gen. There ain't enough talking on God's green earth that's going to change anything. This is what's going to happen. The ABK deal is going to occur. You can crop out organic growth. You can come up with all the narratives you want. Everything. You picked the wrong side, buddy. Oh, well, I picked both. Well, listen, good for you. You ain't playing that PlayStation no time soon. Spider-Man ain't coming out to the end of this year.
If
You're
it
not
comes
playing
out.
anything. That PlayStation console ain't playable right now. You over on the Xbox, fine. That's where you're going to stay eventually because that's where the games are at. If you're really on the Xbox, you know that you're not catching up. There's been games just constantly dropping in Game Pass. You have no time. That's what's going on over here on the Xbox. So you're not fooling the real Xbox fans. Oh, I'm over here I'm playing. No, you're not. If you get over on Xbox, you don't have no time to go nowhere else. That's the problem with Xbox right now. Too many games. So you got this console, it's collecting dust. That's where your money goes to, collecting dust. Fine. But you can't make PlayStation look good this gen. You just can't. You just can't. When that ABK deal smacks y'all upside y'all faces, Xbox is going to become #1 in the market. Listen, I'm not here to pity pat your tears, bro. I'm not here to pamper your feelings. Just telling you straight up what's going to happen. There ain't nobody going to save you. Nobody. Jeff Keighley, none of them. None of them going to save you. All right? Just letting you know that these lame influencers out here, these fake insiders, they're not saving you. These gaming articles and journalists, they're not saving you. At the end of the day, watch how they flip. Watch how they flip because they have a business to run. Once that market becomes #1 on Xbox, they're going to all of a sudden become lovers of Xbox. This is going to be the most funniest thing that ever happened in gaming history. Xbox is going to have the last laugh. I just want to say thank y'all for coming out tonight. I really enjoyed myself. Shout out to my man Six Slayer. Shout out to my man Game Shrills, Boss, Spartan 117, The Realist, and the Resident Gamer Zero for coming on our show tonight.
Hey, what's up, Resident? Yeah, he the real deal right there.
Yeah, shout out to Resident. Hey, but he asked the question, wouldn't it be something if Microsoft dropped 1 game per quarter?
It'd be ridiculous, bro.
Yeah,
That wouldn't happen.
You talking look, they're about to drop 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. See, that's
double.
They're making
anything
history,
less
guys.
would be
We're a part of
uncivilized,
history.
Resident Gaming.
Right. Yep.
I don't think people
get crazy.
see the big picture of what Microsoft's trying to achieve, and when they get ABK and BattleNet, holy crap!
I've been constantly telling people about that. BattleNet's part of the chess piece. People keep sleeping on that.
Yeah, it's going. Just let them sleep. Just let them sleep. That's going to make it more fun.
Night cool, healthy disease.
That's right.
Let the
y'all
media freak out begin.
Yup. Y'all hang in there. Remember, keep it gaming. Chase the one up in life. This has been the New Legal with my awesome panel representing Di-RRec Gaming. Chit Chat, salute. All the real gamers in the world, salute. Thank y'all for all y'all support, man. Until next time, we're going to keep it. Take that. We on to the next, baby. Peace.
All right.